You don't miss your old habits. You miss how they used to numb you. There was a time when distraction worked. Scrolling softened the edges. Late nights felt harmless. Avoidance felt like rest. You told yourself it was balance. You told yourself it was recovery. You told yourself you deserved it. And for a while, it quieted the noise. But now it doesn't. You sit with the same routines, and they no longer comfort you. The show plays, the drink pours, the phone glows, and something in you stays awake, watching. This is the moment most people panic, because when old habits stop working, you lose your anesthesia. And without anesthesia, you feel everything. The dissatisfaction, the stagnation, the distance between who you are and who you could be. Before, your habits protected you from that gap. Now they expose it. You thought comfort meant safety, but comfort was only concealment. It covered the discomfort of growth. It shielded you from discipline. It kept you from confronting yourself. And when it stops soothing you, it feels like something is wrong. It isn't. This is not regression. This is awareness. Your nervous system is tired of pretending. Your mind is tired of sedation. The version of you that wants more has stopped accepting crumbs. There's a quiet grief in this stage. You look at your old pleasures, and they feel hollow. Not evil, not dramatic, just empty. And that emptiness scares you, because it removes your excuse. You can no longer say, "This is enough." You can no longer say, "I'm fine like this." The illusion cracked. And when illusion cracks, identity trembles. You built a rhythm around those habits, a personality around those comforts, a routine around avoidance. Without them working the same way, you feel exposed, unsettled, raw. You don't know what to replace them with yet, so you sit in the silence, and the silence is loud. Most people run here. They intensify the habit. They chase stronger stimulation, more noise, more consumption, more distraction, anything to regain that old sedation. But you can't unknow what you now feel. Your discomfort is no longer random. It is directional. It is pointing at something. The habit stopped comforting you because you have outgrown the version of yourself that needed it. And growth does not feel exciting at first. It feels like loss. Loss of ease, loss of escape, loss of familiar numbness. But this is the beginning of discipline. Not because you are motivated, not because you are inspired, but because comfort has betrayed you. And when comfort fails, you are forced to confront the truth. You are not resting. You are hiding. The hiding doesn't work anymore, and that is not a crisis. It is a turning point.
You are not bored.
You are withdrawing. When an old habit stops comforting you, what you feel next is not clarity. It is agitation, restlessness, irritation, a low-grade anxiety that has no obvious cause. Because what you called comfort was regulation, artificial regulation. You trained your mind to expect relief on demand. Stress appeared, stimulus followed. Loneliness appeared, distraction followed. Doubt appeared, noise followed. And now the stimulus doesn't soothe the same way. Your brain searches for the old effect. It increases the dosage. Longer scrolling, more consumption, more intensity. But the return diminishes, and the gap widens. This is the dangerous stage, not because you are weak, but because you are conscious. You begin to notice the emptiness while you are inside the habit. You are aware of the escape as you are escaping. That awareness creates friction, and friction creates discomfort. Most people misinterpret this friction as a problem. They say, "I'm losing interest. I'm burnt out. I'm just not enjoying things anymore." No, you are experiencing the withdrawal of numbness. Numbness was efficient. It required no effort, no confrontation, no responsibility. But numbness also postponed growth. And when it starts fading, you are left alone with unfiltered reality. Your thoughts are louder now, your self-criticism sharper, your ambitions clearer. You notice how much time you've been trading, how many hours dissolved without intention, how often you avoided discomfort instead of engaging it. This recognition feels heavy because it removes innocence. Before, you could claim ignorance. Now you see. And once you see, you are accountable. Accountability is not dramatic. It is quiet. It sounds like this. You know what you're doing. It sounds like this. You know what you should be doing. And that tension between knowledge and action is unbearable for the undisciplined mind. So it tries to silence it. It tells you, relax. You deserve this. Start tomorrow. But the phrases feel weaker now, less convincing, because something in you has matured. Your standards are rising even if your behavior hasn't caught up, and that internal mismatch creates pressure. Pressure is not punishment. Pressure is alignment attempting to happen. You are feeling the distance between your potential and your pattern. That distance used to be hidden by comfort. Now, it stands in front of you. This is why old habits feel dull. Not because they changed, you changed, or at least a part of you did. And that part is no longer satisfied with sedation. It wants structure. It wants effort. It wants direction. But you haven't built those yet, so you are suspended in between. Too aware to regress fully, too undisciplined to advance consistently. This in-between state is uncomfortable. You feel unstable. You feel like you're losing your identity, because your identity was built around those rituals. Without them soothing you, you don't know who you are at night. You sit in the room. No distraction fully lands. No escape fully absorbs you. And the silence returns. That silence is not empty. It is asking a question. If this no longer comforts you, what will? And that question demands something your old habits never required. Deliberate action. Not stimulation, not avoidance. Action. This is the psychological threshold, where comfort stops regulating you and responsibility begins to. Most people retreat here. They double down on the habit. You won't, because you already feel that going backward is heavier than going forward. And that weight is the beginning of discipline.
If this message resonates with you,
Like and subscribe for more content like this. This channel is built for people who want control over their focus, not constant noise. You are not losing yourself. You are losing the mask. When old habits stop comforting you, the discomfort is not just emotional, it is existential. Because those habits were not random behaviors, they were anchors. You structured your evenings around them, your weekends around them, your stress responses around them. They gave your life a rhythm, even if that rhythm was stagnation. Now the rhythm is broken, and in that break, you feel unstable. This is the fracture, not of behavior, of identity. You used to say, "This is just who I am." You normalized the pattern, you defended it, you built narratives around it. I work better under pressure. I need this to relax. I function fine like this. But when comfort fades, those narratives weaken. And without the story, you are left with the truth. You were coping, not choosing. That realization cuts deeper than boredom, because coping is reactive, choosing is intentional. And when you see that much of your life was reaction, a quiet shame can surface. You think about wasted time, wasted potential, wasted discipline. You replay nights that dissolved, opportunities delayed, standards lowered. Not because you were incapable, but because you were comfortable. Comfort did not destroy you. It diluted you. Slowly, softly, almost invisibly. And now dilution is no longer tolerable. The part of you that wants more is pressing against the ceiling you created. That pressure feels like restlessness, but it is actually expansion. Expansion breaks containers. Your old routines were containers. They kept your ambitions small enough to manage, small enough to excuse, small enough to ignore. Now, ambition is leaking through, and you feel exposed. This is where many people retreat into nostalgia. They romanticize the old days, when things felt simple, when I didn't overthink, when I could just relax. But what they call simplicity was sedation. What they call relaxation was avoidance. You cannot go back to unconsciousness. Once awareness sharpens, regression feels heavier than growth. That is why the habit no longer fits. You outgrew it psychologically before you outgrew it behaviorally, and that mismatch hurts. You are standing between two versions of yourself, one familiar, one demanding. The familiar version offers ease. The demanding version offers expansion. Ease whispers. Expansion requires effort. And effort means sacrifice. Sacrifice of late nights, sacrifice of distraction, sacrifice of emotional anesthesia. This is the cost. Not dramatic, not cinematic, quiet, daily, relentless. You begin to understand something uncomfortable. Your old habits were not your enemy. They were training wheels, and training wheels are useful until they prevent speed. If you keep them now, you don't stay stable, you stay small. The fracture you feel is not collapse. It is separation. You are separating from a version of yourself that cannot carry you forward. And separation always feels like loss, even when it is necessary. You are grieving your old self, not because it was strong, but because it was familiar. Familiarity is powerful. It convinces you that comfort equals safety, but safety without growth is quiet decay. You feel that decay now. You feel it in the dullness of repetition, in the emptiness after indulgence, in the heaviness of inaction. That heaviness is not depression, it is misalignment, and misalignment demands correction. You cannot soothe your way out of this stage. You cannot distract your way through it. You must choose. Not once, repeatedly. The fracture in identity is the birthplace of discipline, because discipline is not built when habits comfort you. It is built when comfort stops working, and you decide to stand anyway. You cannot replace comfort with comfort. You replace it with structure. When your old habits stop soothing you, you stand at a decision point. Not emotional, practical. You can search for a new anesthetic, or you can build a standard. Most people search. You will build. Discipline does not feel inspiring in the beginning. It feels sterile, repetitive, unromantic, quiet. There is no rush, no dopamine spike, no instant relief. Just a simple command. Do what must be done. even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. This is the replacement, not pleasure, pattern. You wake at the same time, you move your body, you begin the task before negotiation begins in your head. You reduce choice, you remove debate, you act. Action is the antidote to the hollow feeling, not because it feels good, because it creates alignment. Alignment is subtle. You don't feel euphoric, you feel steady. You finish something you said you would finish. You keep a promise you made to yourself. That small integrity builds weight, and weight builds gravity. You begin to respect yourself, not loudly, not publicly, internally. The silence that once felt unbearable now feels structured. You are not escaping it, you are using it. The same evenings that used to dissolve are now intentional, short, focused, controlled. Discipline is not dramatic, it is repetition under resistance. You will still feel urges, you will still feel the pull of old patterns, but the difference is this: you are no longer looking to be comforted, you are looking to be forged. Forging requires friction, requires heat, requires pressure. You already felt those, you just used to avoid them. Now you endure them. And endurance changes identity. Not instantly, gradually, one decision at a time. The discomfort that once felt like loss begins to feel like progress. You notice something new. Your habits no longer control you, you control them. That shift is power, not loud power, quiet power. The kind that doesn't need validation, the kind that doesn't need escape. When comfort stopped working, you thought something was wrong. Nothing was wrong, you were evolving. Your old self needed sedation, your current self needs structure. Your future self demands discipline. This is the crossing point. You can either rebuild comfort or rebuild character. One keeps you stable, the other makes you formidable. Choose character. Every day, even when it is boring, even when no one sees, even when the room is silent. Because silence is no longer your enemy, it is your training ground. If this spoke to you, like the video, subscribe, not for motivation, for discipline. Stand without comfort, act without sedation, become without excuse.